Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Bertie live experience. And today we're going to do an amazing session. Bertie's very excited about today. We're going to talk about breaking through the perceived, unseen, or proverbial glass ceiling. And I got some show notes from him. And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, how can you break through the ceiling and what approach should you take through this? So, Bertie, as always, I want you to define this subject for me. Can you explain to us what is this concept of breaking through the proverbial ceiling all about?
Let me start off by saying welcome to everybody out there listening and maybe watching this video later on. Thank you for your support. It's always welcomed, and it's nice talking to you. And if you have some contributions to make, questions to ask, please do so. I don't try to be factual all the time. I hope and trust that sometimes I can be controversial as well. So looking forward to this session, quite rightly so, having some fun again. Yes, if we talk about breaking through that proverbial ceiling, the challenge that I've been looking at for a very long time now is to try and coerce people, potential clients, in understanding what I'm actually talking about when I talk about vision with imagination. Because I know it works. I've seen it works, and I've seen the benefits and the outcomes where people go beyond their own personal expectations by one just leading them, because everything you need to path your specific way to your overall life purpose is already in you. It just need to be released. Somebody sometimes must just remove that block. Every one of us has got them for what, some other reason. And today I don't want to cover why and what those blocks might be. I just want to say that we are knocking on ceilings and we don't even know it. And beyond that ceiling is the answers and the answers to all our dreams and our wishes. And that's what I want to address. How can I support you, and how can my colleagues out there in one or other way help you to get through that glass ceiling to live your deserved life?
Okay, so when we're talking about the glass ceiling, we are talking about you're in a professional or your personal life and you feel like you can't go any further. Now, we've identified this, and we're talking about an unseen ceiling. We're talking about it being a proverbial ceiling. Before I ask my question, Bertie, does this ceiling actually exist?
I'm certain it does exist, because we all sometimes feel boxed in. We do so much, and we are honest and sincere with ourselves. We say, and you often get to the point you're saying, what can I do more? I'm simply not breaking through. I'm not getting to take the next step. I feel that sometimes a loneliness comes over you, a hopelessness comes over you, because you've been driving so hard. You know where you're going. You're just at that point where you're saying, I simply can't get through this. Who can help me? It's not. I'm not talking about to see the wood from the trees. I'm just having you feel like exploding, but you are an actual fact imploding, because you've got a block somewhere around you. You can actually feel it. Obviously, we can't see it, but you experience it inside in your being here, in your gut. You feel it. I'm ready. I'm there. I just not get through that. Somebody must just push you over the cliff so you can learn to fly. That's what I'm talking about.
Love the passion today. Bertie, this ceiling, like in construction, surely I can move my ceiling if it is constrictive for me.
We are working on developing and growing ourselves daily. Most definitely. So we are shifting our ceiling out and out and out We're not breaking through it because we're growing and we get better. We get wiser. We get more experience. We get faster. And we do all these kind of things. And we in stature and in being becomes just bigger. But we are not exploding and multiples of ourselves. That's what I'm saying. And you're quite right. Yes, we are growing. I mean, we're born, we crawl, we start walking, we start running, and that's how we go better. But we are just not always not every one of us is breaking through that ceiling like a proverbial running the 100 meters in 9.5 or what is the world record at the moment. That's the glass ceiling, that impossible 3-minute mile. And it's just a proverbial ceiling. And once one breaks through that ceiling, all of a sudden, so many others go and they do the same.
Bertie, so in the context of today, we're talking about moving it or breaking through it. Now, what I want to get down to go ahead.
No, that's fine. I don't want to move it. I don't want to move it.
You want to break through it.
I just put it in somebody else's path, and I don't want to do that. I want to break it. I must go through this, and I must look down at it. It's gone. I've grown beyond that.
All right. So you want to get through the ceiling. You don't want to move it around. And so my challenge to you now is, okay, I know you don't like to break things down into steps, etc. But what do I do so that I can break through this ceiling of mine?
As I say, that is one of those things that you can do a lot on your own, but you cannot do all of it on your own. You certainly need some help. And we all need some help, some guidance. We do have guidance all along our life. Since we were born, we always had guidance and support. You know, whether we've been crawling and somebody carrying around, we've always had the help. And we will still need that help the day we leave this earth. Okay. So we need that help. And that is where sometimes the challenge come in, because we are so involved in our own lives and in our growth, in our business, as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, as a leader. It doesn't matter what we aspire to become one day, part of our vision for our life. We're so engrossed in that we don't look around and reach out for the help, for all those helping hands that is extended there to us. And in some cases, it's because I want to go on my own. I want to do it alone. So my ego is much more than my willingness to acknowledge that others help me to actually reach my vision and my goal. But we need people. We need people like coaches. We need mentors. We need consultants. And sometimes even we need counselors. Just people to help us. And all successful people, I promise you, have got many of those four as part of their lives, daily lives. Coaches, mentors, consultants, and counselors. It doesn't make them a weaker person. It makes them a wiser person, to reach out to those people that can help them to distinguish between what is right and wrong, what is best for them and their careers. So breaking through that ceiling with some help, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, so we've spoken about these three things, these three approaches to development before: coaching, mentoring, and consulting. Do you want to talk about what the value of each of those are, and how do I identify what kind of relationship I need?
If I can start with coaching. Coaching is not mentoring, and coaching is not consulting. Coaching, an effective coaching, and all coaching is effective, so I must just correct myself there. Effective coaching is helping you to unleash your potential. And I do that as a coach by you giving me the answers that you already have. Okay? So I'm coercing answers for you to dig deep down to your core and bring the answers to the table and to yourself. Hearing it, believing it, and doing it. The mentor is the person that already walked that path. He has experience and can share that experience with you so that you don't go and fall off the cliff, for example. It'll help you and guide you. He will, in actual fact, it is a person that walked next to you and help you along the way. And many years back, I've learned about the 4 points of effective mentorship, which is a trainer, a coach, a devil's advocate, and a sponsor. And the four, for each of them have got their own definition. And this coach in this concept is not a coach as we know it, being a life coach. This is somebody that teach you the rules of the game. The trainer is the one that makes you strong, fast, teach you perseverance and all of that's required to keep on that path that you've chosen for yourself. The devil's advocate is somebody in your life that you can entrust with your vision, with your overall dream, that you can go to and ask for advice, like a grandfather, an old father, a teacher, somebody important in your life. You can say to him, you know where I'm going. Will this opportunity that's come my way take me closer to my goal or not? I need your guidance. And the sponsor is really somebody, once again, that understands where you're going and is helping you by getting a foot in the door, help you to choose the opportunities and get you through the door. Now that's the mentorship. So I'm sharing with you my experience. So you don't have to read the textbook again. I'll tell you about it. And the consultant is obviously, you understand that you do have a problem. And sometimes the consultants knows best about your problem. They investigate, and they come with a solution and an implementation plan and help you and consult you to do the right thing, the right time. You may or may not be directly involved, but it's somebody that does the things on your behalf. The mentor teaches you how to do it on your own to that part, and the coach unleashes your potential so you can start believing in yourself that you can do it. So those three people is important in your life.
Okay, so now when I identify what I need, how do I go about choosing the right person to walk a road with?
That is a very important question. And I start off with, if you understand what you need, sometimes we don't know what we need. And that is once back to effective coaching, because sometimes we know what we don't know. Sometimes we don't know what we don't know. And sometimes we don't know what we do know. We know that the story. Okay. So the question then, what do I do? How do I go and take your hand and lead you down the path? I've just lost the essence of your question. Just say that again, Iman, before I go down.
So once I identified these different roles and I know what I want, how do I go and find the right person to walk a road with?
Yes, I was answering the concept of do you know what you need? But we assume that the need comes from you. It's not for me to tell you what you need. You must tell me what you need, because that's the efficient one. You must understand your problem. You share your problem, and we address the problem. But the answer lies in trust and relationships. And that's always the biggest challenge when it comes to any one of those roles, whether it's coaching, mentor, or consultant. It is, would you trust that individual? And would you be willing to build the relationship based on that trust going forward? Because remember, if those people become part of your life, they become part of your integral life, because you share your inner being with them and your future, and you lay it all out there for them to walk this path. And they must be willing to take your hand and walk you through that and become part of your future dreams. Okay, so that's important. Relationship, critical. Trust, critical. Both of those, either or is first.
Okay, so I think I've asked this question before in one of the previous sessions that we had. Let's say in the concept of a mentor that you have. Sometimes you outgrow your mentor. that now you need a different level of a mentor? How do you identify when that mentorship has now, you've walked your full path with that mentor, and it's now time, not that you exchange the one for the other. I would say that your relationship remains, but it's now time for you to go to the next level, or you need mentoring in a different area. How do I identify that I need to now change a mentorship relationship that I have?
I would say that, I mean, because you have to outgrow your mentor, there will be a time that you will part ways, because the mentor is basing his mentorship and sharing his experiences with you based on his experience. But you want to grow beyond that. So that's when the mentor becomes a coach, because to guide your direction, because he's been sharing his personal experiences up to now. But it's up to you. I mean, like I talk about the 4 instances of mentorship, and it could be 4 different people. You appoint them in the stage of your life, and you replace them as you go on. And there's nothing wrong with saying, person, listen, I'm moving on. Thank you very much for carrying me up to here. I know you're tired. You can take a rest now. And you acknowledge their role in the development of your life. So it's an ongoing process. And I think all people there's a long relationship with coaches, because remember, once again, a coach, all the coach is doing, he's getting your answers out of you for your future. I'm not giving you the answers like a mentor does. So the coach can walk with you a long life, but you probably change your mentors as you step up, as you grow and become not more important, but have still reached a certain stage of your life and your development and growth, that you just need another perspective, some other help in another direction, because you want to grow and develop as a whole thinking person, and not just a tunnel vision up there nowhere, and believe that there's nothing else in life. We got to have a balance. That is also important.
My next question would be ethically. A lot of these relationships, there's a financial relationship involved with a coach, a mentor, a consultant, etc. So from the perspective of the coach or the mentor, ethically, it should be their goal or the objective to get you to the next stage. In other words, we've spoken about this before, where you develop the company so that you are eventually out of a job, or you help your employee develop to a level where he can find another job if he wants one, that kind of thing. Can you talk to us about the ethics behind the mentor or the coach to not keep you captive? In other words, not develop you that they want to be in the relationship for a long time, but that they actually develop you so that they can move on from the relationship that they have with you.
That's the wonderful thing about these 3, let's call it persons: coach, mentor, consultant. You appoint them, and you can as easily fire them, because they must be part of your life, but not your life. Okay, because you want to live your life based on the experience that they are willing to share with you. So you don't have to go down that path of training, development, and growth anymore by buying it from whoever has had the experience before. So when you hit that ceiling, you can and feel that you cannot go anywhere now with as an individual any further, then you just part with that experience and that individual's involvement in your life. But in business, it's not that easy, and we've spoken it before, is that companies go through development, early growth, development, growth, and all of that. You need different kind of leadership in organizations to take them a continuous growth. Adizes talk about, you can go into early death if you don't see the signs that you need change in your organization. Grow bigger, appoint new leadership, take on new technologies and whatever, because you constantly have to do that. Otherwise, you go on a curve like that, you go down, and if you go that down there, that could be early death. In a highly successful product, a highly successful company can go bang if they don't see the signs. So they need to understand that you need at different stages in the organization, different leadership. And sometimes bigger organization is able to buy in the expertise they need at a certain stage of development of the organization. But in small organization, that sometimes is really their glass ceiling. Because if you've got a dynamic leader in there that thrive on change, then he will come in or she will come into the organization and just drive this change, which is superb. But sometimes the company must just settle and need a time of settling down. In other words, we need more maintenance-related type leadership at that stage. That's when we sort of level off, almost like a plateau. And when we're ready, we find everything is fine and all systems go. We take the next step.
Bertie, you had kind of an epiphany this week. Do you want to talk about that?
My apologies. I'm struggling with a little bit of a throat problem here. So my stage, yes. Last week I spent some time with an excellent network group, and I was in the hot chair. Sorry for that, everybody. Yes, I was in a hot chair. I've always seen myself as developing into this world-famous coach. And I'm very passionate about it. But when I was put in the hot chair and challenged in terms of my niche and my avatar, I ended up struggling to put that in a box that was clear. And I can say that's what I want to do. Because with my life experience, I really have been there. And I have got a need and a desire to share. But that's not the role of a coach. And I fully understand it as being a coach myself. That's not my role. If it's needed in a coaching session, it's important to time out and say, this is not coaching, this is mentoring. Are you comfortable? Can I share with you? And if the coachee feels no, I want to go do it my own, and that's fine. So when I was sitting there, one of the participants said to me, Bertie, but you are more of a mentor and more of a consultant because you've been there. You understand the industry. And that is quite a challenge for a person like myself that sees myself as a coach. So one need to understand that these three are separate. You must look at the coachee or at the challenge that the organization has, that problem that the organization has and need to be addressed, not what you see to be the real problem. Because if you see the real problem, you can coach it so that the coachee will see the problem for himself and they mention and share the problem and the challenge they have, and then you coach accordingly. Okay. But it's not for me to go into somebody and say, listen, I can see you've got a problem. You're combing your hair the wrong way around. You must change it from left to right, not right to left. That's not the approach of a coach. So that to me was quite, it was, as you say, epiphany, that I'm saying, I need to make this, make this shift in my mindset as well and say, Bertie, when will you take the role on as a coach? Be clear, when mentor and when a consultant. You are in the hands of the client. So listen more, speak less. Because the client needs to work it out for himself, what he knows and he doesn't know, or what he does know. And that was something for me to ponder, and I was trying to work through this, and I'm still working through this, because it would mean that I would need to take a little bit of a different approach. Just step back for once and talk to my coach to get clarity on this, because
Right.
it's quite important. It's vital.
Bertie, I want to end off by asking, what is it like? Can you explain what it would be like for someone to engage with you when they want to be mentored or go to the next level?
I was very fortunate to sit with a dear friend this afternoon and to discuss right at just this very point, because he's very much a creative thinker, but a very introvert, a big introvert, but an enormous philosopher. And we were talking through this, how life can be lonely if one feel that you has been given gifts, abilities to see things and to change things. But that then you are haste in your nature, and it's like a bull in a china shop. So I'm mentioning that and saying that because entering in a relationship with me would mean that you will go on a roller coaster, no doubt. I will make certain that you will be taken to places you've never been before, places that will make you extremely ecstatic and happy, but might also make you very uncomfortable. Because out of the discomfort comes the true creativity. When I work with companies and strategic exercises, I do strange things. Like the last organization, I got these CEOs to draw on an A1 sheet with a pack of crayons. They had to draw what they wanted to get out of the strategic meeting, how they see the company, where they see the company go, whatever. They are used to tables, graphs, pie charts, facts and figures. And here, this crazy Bertie asked them to draw things. But I just want to draw out of them a little bit of creativity, to think outside the box, because that's what I talk about. Create a vision with imagination. Because if you create that vision with imagination, you are actually defining and creating your own future. You, not me, not the coach, not the mentor, not the consultant. You are creating by defining your own future. And the moment you've done that, and you see your future, and you get clarity on your future, because if you can perceive it, you can do it. Therefore, you can believe it. Then you start living your life in your future. In other words, you pull yourself, your organization, into the future. You yourself, not me. I just guide you by asking the right questions so that you can believe and hear yourself say the right things, pulling yourself the future. The time for strategizing by growing from where you're at. Foundation is important. Gives structure, gives culture, a lot of things. But you can't live your life by building one brick on the other. We must make quantum leaps. And I believe, honest and sincerely, I can help you by creating that vision for you. Start living in your future. Make quantum leaps for you and your organization, and take you beyond your possibilities. In other words, take you beyond the glass ceiling. Let you break it. Let it shatter in pieces, because you must explode. It's all here. God-given talents exploded. Take it out there. You'll never look back. So you don't want to move this ceiling. No. You just put it in somebody else's path. Why should you do that? Just break it. It's up to you. That's what I want to do. And that's what people would experience with me. It will be a roller coaster. I can bet my last dollar on it. Come enjoy the ride.
Awesome. Bertie, as we end off, what is your expectation of, say, the next 6 months in your life, and then the next, say, 5 years in your life? What does the future look like?
Let me put it this way. By stating and taking the first step and writing my book, and seeing how the book has not only changed my mind, but also has changed the perception of my clients and my friends' view of myself and my abilities. I believe the sky's the limit. I've got no doubt that reading the book and applying the principles of bird's eye view thinking in that book will make a difference to people's lives. And if I can look back in 5 years' time and said, I made a difference to many lives, because remember, if you make a difference to one person's life, they impact a lot of other people. So there's a multiple of benefits to a lot of people out there. Change one person's mindset, and you've changed a lot already.
Phenomenal. Thank you, everyone who's watching. If you're watching this afterwards, you're welcome to post a comment below, and Bertie will answer your question for you. And remember, we're talking as an overarching theme about vision with imagination. Bertie has spoken about his positioning today and how he wants to help people just get the best out of their lives going forward. Thank you for spending time with me, Bertie, and I'm looking forward to our session again next week.
Thank you, Ivan. As always, I enjoy it very much. And to all you out there, thanks for your attention. Much appreciated.
Awesome. Bye-bye, everyone. See you guys next week, Tuesday at 4 o'clock.